Hello everybody, I'm Matt. Welcome to another episode of AVA Direct. Today we're going to be going over a custom water-cooled PC with a lot of goodies in it, so stay tuned. So today we've got a beast right here. This is a Thermaltake The Tower 900. Don't forget the, it's not just a Tower 900. It's got to have the V. That gives it some oomph, you know. But this bad boy has a GIGABYTE Z490 AORUS Ultra G2 motherboard in it. That is the, of course, now I'm going to blank on his name. Oh, it's the Kenny S Special Edition motherboard. So it actually comes with a couple cool things like a tiny little Kenny S memorabilia plaque that you can set on your desk if you're into that kind of thing. More power to you CS players. Inside of this motherboard, we've got the 10900K. I'm sure most of you are familiar with it by now. I won't go into the details. We're all hyped on 11th gen, I know. But a 10900K, it's being cooled by a quantum velocity water block. That is the nickel and frosted plexi. So it gives it that kind of frosted look. It's way too big for me to like reach around and show you anything in specific, but you get the idea. As far as GPUs go, we've got two ROG Strix 3090s in this thing. And if you're familiar with graphics cards, you typically know that ROG Strix cards are like up here. They're very like high-end cards. So typically they have the highest clock speeds out of the box, which is nice. But they are actually really great cards. Of course, we've got them cooled with quantum vector GPU blocks. That's EK as well. Those are the nickel blocks with a clear plexi side plate on them, or clear plexi plate on them. You can't tell from the photo, but sitting here from the side, you're able to see all the coolant running through it and everything. It's very fancy. Pump wise, we've got two of the EK D5 pumps. Each of those are running to an individual EK 480 SE radiator. So there's two separate loops in here actually. The first loop is simply the CPU by itself running to an EK 480 radiator in the back, which mind you is being cooled by QL CORSAIR fans, 120 QL CORSAIR fans. And then the GPUs run to a separate radiator in the back on the other side. That's also a 480. So it works out really nicely, especially with two 3090s. You know, those are going to get pretty spicy. It's going to keep your temps in line all the way around, depending on, or no matter what you do, I should say. It doesn't depend on what you do. You can do anything at this point. Storage wise, we've got a 970 Evo Plus. We've actually got two of them. I take that back. They are 1 terabytes. So plenty of storage in there. No hard drives, no SSDs. Power supply wise, we've got an EVGA, not a 1000 watt. This is a 1600 watt. This is another chunky boy. It is a P2. It's an 80 plus platinum power supply. So honestly, it's like, I don't even know. It's probably got to be like one of the most efficient power supplies that are on the market. Like 80 plus platinum and 1600 watt, like I don't think there's anything bigger than that, to be honest with you. So you need it though, obviously, for something of this caliber. This is next level. So aside from that, we've also got the mainframe custom cables, which are these black cables. I went over that in the previous episode with everyone. Those are really nice. They plug straight into the power supply. They are dependent on your power supply. So don't go buy the Seasonic brand of mainframe custom cables if you want to do it at home. Don't buy those if you have an EVGA power supply. They will not work. You might fry your system. So be careful, check that. But they're super nice. They look really good. I like the cable combs. I think it just ties everything together real nicely, especially being black in this system. Customer decided to go with black coolant, which turned out really nice. As you can see, I mean, it's obviously it's not black where you can't see through it, but I think that works out nicer because you still want to be able to see what's going on inside of the blocks for the GPU and pump and whatnot, and through the tubes. It adds that other kind of mystique to it, you know? Aside from that, I think I'm only missing one thing, and that would be the memory. They did go with HyperX Predator memory. It's 3600 megabyte, or not, megabytes. Ha, imagine that, 3,600 megabytes. 3,600 megahertz, so it is very fast, and it's 64 gigs, so it's more than enough than you could ever possibly need unless you're really getting into some heavy stuff. So I think that just about wraps things up for this build. Very cool overall, very interesting hardline build, I'd say. Everything was had an extra level of difficulty to it, being that they had to go through this bracket here in the middle, a lot of the tubing back to the other radiators. But I think it turned out very nicely. I hope you guys like it. Obviously, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, you know where to reach us. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I believe. I can never remember if we're on Twitter, so I apologize. But yeah, check us out. Ask us any questions you got. If you guys can think of anything, I appreciate you stopping by. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks.
The PC in this video, be sure to contact our sales team at sales@avadirect.com, or you can head over to our website by clicking on the link in the description below. You can choose from many pre-built options, gaming or workstation based, or use our configurator to build a PC of your dreams. Be sure to click that thumbs up button and subscribe, and don't forget to follow our social media channels at avadirect.com.